Hello, how you doing? Once again, this is Brian, and this is the Live Life Now podcast. I hope you've been enjoying these episodes. Just so you know, today's episode is one that have thought about a little bit in recent times as I've gotten older. It's about what it's like to get older, and things I wish I knew when I was younger. So I'm not I'm not ancient or anything, but I often feel probably older than I really am. Sometimes when I'm around my kids, because the generations have changed so much over the years, and I cannot relate to them on certain levels anymore. Obviously, I relate to them on many positive levels, but as their parents and being 30 to 30 plus years older than them, uh, I'm definitely seen on a different level. And it's funny because when you're younger, you see everybody who's over a certain age is very old. And then as you get older, you realize, like, oh, you know what, that's not actually as old as I used to think that was. And then you think of other ages that are way older than you as the old ones. So I don't know. Maybe when I get to a really old age, I'll think, oh, that's not even that old. Who knows? But yeah, I have grown a lot as a person over the years, as hopefully everybody else does as they get older and grow up. There's good and bad in all of it, of course. The good of it is that you have experiences, and hopefully they're positive experiences. And the ones that aren't, hopefully you learn something that you can take away from them that are positive. Mistakes you won't make again, whatever the case may be. But I would say that there's so much to know when you're younger, and you just don't have the experience to know it yet because it hasn't happened to you before. Everything feels newer when you're younger. There's an excitement of what could possibly be, and it's really up to you to make it happen as a kid, or your family to make it happen, or whatever the circumstance you're in. But generally speaking, I think, at least for me personally, I can only speak from my personal experiences, of course. I have grown in my confidence, heavily in that time. I've grown into a more well-rounded person from when I was younger. I learned a lot about myself, and I didn't shy away from things. I mean, maybe at some points I did, but eventually I did the work on myself to be better. And does it mean I have everything all 100% together all the time? No, of course not. There are so many things, and we're constantly learning and growing and changing, and it's just part of what we do. But like, to be self-aware of things, to reflect on things, to realize and be accepting of things that you didn't do well, or that things that you could have been better at, or people you've done wrong in some way, and to be understanding that, accepting blame in a way, accepting not just blame, but like accepting fault when justified, accepting that, even if somebody or something goes wrong, what are you doing to make it better? What are you doing to change the situation? What was your role in that occurring? A lot of times in life, generally speaking, a lot of us will play the victim of some level or some sort. And instead of doing that, what about accepting your role in whatever has occurred? Those things I've definitely grown at and gotten much better at over the years, but also just realizing that people don't care as much as you think they do. They're not paying attention to your every move nearly as close as you might think they are. We're just so self-absorbed a lot of times in our lives as people that we think people are noticing all types of stuff that they probably aren't. And even if they are, honestly, who cares? Like, let it go. It's not a big deal. even if something embarrassing happens, if you react badly, it's only going to make the situation worse. Play along with it, be silly, don't take yourself too seriously. That is super important in my opinion. I've definitely learned that it's okay not to know everything, that it's okay to make mistakes, of course, that it's okay to, I don't know, just to not have things figured out, and as long as you are trying to get better, and as long as you are content with who you are, and we as people, we have such limited time and such, our significance in the world is debatable, so why not enjoy yourself? Why stress yourself out? Like, that's not going to make things better. Are there times, where it's justified to be stressed and upset? Of course, but don't bring it upon yourself unnecessarily. It's bad for your health. It's bad for your mental health, and physical health is basically what I'm saying. And there's no reason to hold on to things that are only bringing you down and making you worse on whatever level that is occurring. It's about forgiving, but not forgetting. Realizing that we all have our flaws, that we all have our growth to go through, and that we're imperfect. And that's kind of the beauty of things in a way. If everything was perfect, then it would certainly be a much less exciting world that we live in. But anyways, in regards to age, it's interesting. I obviously have a lot more in mind and a lot more goals ahead, but there is a sense of fulfillment on some things. It's amazing sometimes to look back, now that I'm in my 40s, and realize, man, I actually have done a lot of cool things over the years, and had cool experiences, and met a lot of great people, and traveled to a lot of awesome places, and just did the things that I wanted to do. And the things that I wanted that weren't easy, I made the efforts, and I made them happen, and it was all right. Like, it all worked itself out at the end of the day. Even the difficult times, they passed. And, not to say that more difficult times aren't ahead. We go through struggles in life, and that's constant, on and off, but it's about the reaction. It's about how you handle those difficulties and those challenges. That's what I've learned. I've learned that even though while I still get stressed, I'm able to look at it, even in the moment of being completely stressed, just knowing that, like, hey, it's up to you to be less stressed if you want to be less stressed. Nobody can do that for you in this moment. Not really. You have to give yourself the peace of mind that this is not permanent. This is a temporary thing. And if something is permanent, that you're going to work through it, and that you're going to figure it out, and you're going to get better. And you're only going to build your confidence that much further once you've worked through it and seen that, the things will find a way to work out at the end of the day. And even the things that you don't think are going to work out, they might not work out the way that you want them to, or the way that you expect them to, or even as good as you hope they might go, but they will settle. And it's about not only how you react, but how you set yourself up in life. If something doesn't work out right, or at least right to you, then do something about it. What is the next steps? What is the next option? Life is based off of our choices, and there are choices all the time, even if they're not choices we like or that we would typically choose. We do have a choice of how we react, of the things we do, the people we hang out with, even the places we work. It's very easy to just feel stuck in our situations sometimes, whether it's with work or school or relationships. But really, it comes down to, okay, do you want to be in this job? No? Okay, don't be. You say, oh, that's simple. That's easy for you to say. And it sounds incredibly easy to say something like that without, having the understanding of other factors. But at the same time, okay, you don't like this, then find something else. Come up with another plan. It might be you might be able to find something even better. And just keeping an overall positive attitude. While I can be negative at times, I am so far beyond the person I was when I was younger. I was so much more negative. And I learned not to be, because you know what? It wasn't doing me good. It wasn't helping me in any way. It was doing the opposite of that. And I realized, you know what? I don't want to be down. I don't want to be depressed. I made a conscious choice to do something about my mental health and my physical health. I've had times where I've went through long stretches of working out. I have gone through stretches where I try to do things to excite myself, to have goals, things to look forward to, plans ahead. And also I look forward to the things that my kids have going on. I know that I'm worthy of love and happiness, and I need to give myself that peace of mind, knowing that most things I've done them before, or I could do them anytime if I put in the time and effort and things go the right way for me, but it's up to me to take the first step and make things go in the direction that I want them to go. Those are the things that I have learned growing up. I definitely went through a time when I was in my teenage years where I would say I was down for years at a time. It doesn't mean I didn't have happy days or happy months. Of course I did. I had great moments, but I didn't have a large network of friends. I was kind of isolated for different reasons. I often just stayed home, played guitar, wish I had more friends, wish I had a girlfriend, didn't know how to make things happen at all. But what I learned looking back is there were opportunities out there. I just didn't see them. Whether it was, there were arguably girls that were interested in me that I just didn't realize were. They were giving me subtle hints that I didn't pick up on. There were people that probably would have been cool hanging out with after school and things, but I didn't initiate it. There were, I could have been way more involved in school activities that would have opened me up to hang out with other kids more and built my social network more, but I didn't see it. And only in my senior year did I really make a big change. I had grown up from fourth grade and throughout middle school, all that time, playing tennis. And then I had stopped because I'd fractured both of my wrists in the same year in eighth grade. And then I kind of got out of tennis. I was playing music, but I met a friend. I basically made a very close friend, and he was on the tennis team. And I was like, well, why don't I apply for the tennis team again? And it got me back into it. And, I built a network of people that way. But then, school ended. It was tough because there was people that I thought I was closer to than I really was. But once school ended and we didn't have a reason to have to be around one another, I realized they weren't truly my friends. They were friends because we were in the same place at the same time. But we didn't, or at least in their case, I didn't feel they made the effort to actually hang out when we didn't have to be around each other. And that was a hard lesson. And I remember it hurt a lot. And I remember feeling just like, man, I thought I knew these people and I guess I didn't. But then, you know what? It made me appreciate the other ones that stuck around that much more. The ones that when I made new friends, I appreciated it on a deeper level for sure. And then, I had my Barnes times or, bookstore times. And then I had my band times. I had all my college times. I had various different jobs and all types of acquaintances, and there was a lot of dating. Then I met my ex-wife, and we had many great years together. And then I had my kids, and then now again in another great relationship. Uh, I have to be grateful because there's so many good things going on. There's always things to look forward to because I give myself those things. I plan things. I don't just do it for me either. I do it for my kids too. And once again, no regrets. You know, yeah, there's things that I can look back on when I was younger and think, oh man, I wish I would have asked that girl out, or I wish I would have picked up on this, that moment when this woman was, well, that time, maybe that teenage girl that was my age was flirting with me. And there were so many, there's little things here and there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But I didn't know. I had to learn the hard way. I eventually did learn. And I, improved on a lot of aspects. I became a more desirable person by treating myself better, by setting boundaries better, by just, I don't know, just having my stuff together better, by having, but when you have your things together, when you don't need something from somebody, when you just, you appreciate what they bring to the table and they appreciate what you bring to the table, and you guys have your own life, but when you come together, you make each other better. You want to be around each other. You make the efforts. That goes so far, and I've gotten much, much better at all of that, and also just paying attention to the signs, I guess you could say, which I didn't know when I was younger. But I can't feel bad about it. I did the best I could given what I knew at the time and the age and experience that I had. So that's a lot of stuff there. What would I tell my younger self? Well, I definitely would tell my younger self to, live without regrets earlier. I would tell my younger self, that girl was interested in you. What are you doing? Ask her out, or I don't know, do something, because there are signs here that you're not catching. I would come in knowing what I know now, and I always think if I knew what I knew now back then, oh my goodness, I would have been unstoppable. I would have been, I don't know, on all types of clubs and teams, and would have just put myself out there on a whole other level that I never did. That's coming out party came later in a lot of ways for me when I got older, especially when I went through the bookstore times. But you know what? If it didn't happen just the way that it did, my life would have possibly went in a whole other direction. I may not have met the people that I met along the way. Things would have happened differently. And I don't know if that would have been better or worse or what, but, I don't wonder what if. What's done is done. And I have made up for lost time and time again. I am one of the best traveled people of anybody I've ever met in my entire life. I have had experiences that most people wish they would have had in their life at some point, and nobody gave that to me. Yes, did I have advantages over certain people because I was born into a middle-class family and not into poverty? Of course. Did I maybe have certain advantages because I was a white male? Yeah, probably. There's a many different things that I see that definitely made things easier for me than maybe for some others. But at the same time, it's still about what you do with what you have. And, if you're willing to grind, if you're willing to put the efforts in, there's no guarantee they're going to pay off. But that drive is important, and not being content with the ordinary. I definitely have that drive in me. And I can't have just a normal, boring day or an ordinary, average, uh, I don't know, just experience. It doesn't mean I'm less fulfilled or something. It's just that I treat a lot of days like they could be my last. And do I think they're my last? No, because of course that would be a horrible mental state to be in. Um, but I try to think like, well, if this was the end, did I have a good day? Did I do something that excited me? Did I do something that, I don't know, pushed me forward in some level, whether it was doing these podcasts, whether it was going after another goal, making another plan, I don't know, having a good day at work, making money. Did I do something that pushed me in the right direction in my life? Just even if it's just a teeny step. If I did that, or you know what, if I just say, hey, you know what, I needed a rest day today. And if I had a positive rest day to reset and, help myself out for the next day or for the next week or whatever, then it was worth it. That was a positive step in the right direction. So those are the type of things I think about. And those are the type of things that I would tell my younger self. But ultimately, I probably wouldn't need to tell my younger self anything. I would have to experience the things I experienced to be the person that I am now. Otherwise, if I had it easier and I took my own advice and avoided a lot of adversity that I didn't need to go through, maybe that would have changed me in a way that I wouldn't have liked. Who knows? And there's no way to know for sure, I guess. So, no reason to speculate. But I would just say that appreciate the time you have when you're young. Don't think it's going to last forever, and don't be so judgmental of others, because it's ridiculous. It's a waste of time. Um, my other thoughts would be like, hey, just while like the internet and social media and all these things are great, don't allow yourself to get as sucked in as I have over the years. Who cares about likes and all these things? You don't need those things. Those are not really fulfilling. That type of attention is fleeting and is only as good as your next thing. And it's much more fulfilling to be happy with yourself and love yourself on a true level, and not just superficially, or what you think people like about you, or you know I mean, genuinely love yourself. Even the stuff you don't like about yourself, learn to love that part too. Or at the very least, uh, learn to do something about the things you don't like, or come to peace with the things that you don't like, or fix uh, you know what bothers you, because why hold on to that you know stuff that doesn't bring you to a better place, mentally, physically, you name it. That it's just baggage that's dragging you down, and there's no reason for it. Let it go as much as you can. And obviously, depends what that baggage is, and depends what the situation is, and you name it, of course. But I'm just speaking in a general sense here. Make the choice to make tomorrow a great day. Make the choice to do the things that fulfill you, the things that excite you, the things that if it were your last day tomorrow, that you'll be glad that you've accomplished in your life. Those goals, whatever the case may be, do them, because you get one shot at this. And why would you want to hold back? Why, you know what I mean? What are you waiting for? I think most people in life regret more the things they didn't do than the things they actually do. I can speak from my personal experience and say, yeah, the things that I've regretted are the concerts I didn't go to, or the girls that I liked when I was younger that I didn't ask out. Those are the regrets, the things I didn't do. The experiences that I didn't get to have because of shyness, because of fear, because of whatever. And maybe they would have went badly, but I'm the type of person that can appreciate the fact that even if I failed at something, I'm just proud of myself to have the courage to try. And even if it didn't go well, I would have known, you know what, but at least you gave it a shot. And that's what I do. I given this podcast a shot here, never doing this before in my life, just for the sake of doing it, even if nobody watches. Hopefully people will, but if you don't, hey, that's okay too. I'm doing it for me at the end of the day, and for something fun and exciting, and to get out some of my words and experiences, and is all good too. Thank you for listening. I have another episode coming out about making a podcast, so stay tuned for that. Have a great one.